I got some time before, I get to the job. So let me, do a stream, early morning stream. I got about 15, 20 minutes. You know, I told you guys a lot of these dudes here are predictable. They predictable. Most of these dudes, they just predictable, and they push the same BS narrative that they always push when it comes to, Terrence Crawford or certain fighter. I mean, for God's sake, just say you hurt you hate Terrence Crawford. Just say you can't stand the dude, and just say you want him to lose at all costs instead of trying to play these games or trying to call yourself making logical sense. Now, first of all, we all know that Boots got elevated, which he didn't fight for the title. But somehow, some way, they try to turn this into Terrence Crawford is ducking him when they admitted that they had a chance to fight for the WBO when they was the number one contender. They was hollering this stuff about networks, and they wanted to stay loyal to Showtime and all this kind of stuff. Well, at the end of the day, what's more important, your career, having a chance to fight for a title, or calling yourself staying loyal to a network? You would have had a chance to get a title shot, and you would have made some decent money. And if you won, you would have had a belt. But at the end of the day, we all know if Terrence Crawford would have fought Ennis and won the fight, they would have said, well, Ennis is green. He was too green. He wasn't ready for Terrence Crawford. But yet, they would have tried to say, they would have tried to say that Terrence Crawford is ducking him. At the end of the day, Terrence Crawford is at a point in his career where he's looking for big money fights. He put in the work at the end of the day, and I ain't got nothing against Boots, but he ain't put in the work. All this stuff about, well, people ain't trying to fight him and all this stuff, and they don't want to be a stepping stone for Boots and all this kind of stuff, but you was fine with it when these dudes were ducking Terrence Crawford, blatantly ducking Terrence Crawford. Keith Thurman wanted no parts of Terrence Crawford 4 years ago. Neither did Danny Garcia, neither did Ugas. None of those dudes wanted a part of Terrence Crawford. And even for the most part, even though Manny Pacquiao, it was looking like he was going to fight Terrence Crawford, well, according to Bob Arum, he decided not to let the fight go through. And then Manny Pacquiao, at the time, he had a PBC deal. So we all know who interfered with it. We all know who played a role in interfering with that fight, as well as Bob Arum, allegedly. But then you had people sitting up laughing when the fight, which I thought was pathetic. But this is what these dudes do. I promise you, if Terrence Crawford was to just say, okay, you know what, we'll fight Boots, I promise you that's what they're going to do. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to make excuses. As long as Terrence Crawford doesn't win, that's when the credit will be due. That's when the credit will be given. They'll give it to the guy that beats Terrence Crawford, not to the guy that Terrence Crawford beats. Ain't you tired of seeing this with these dudes? They full of it. Like I said before, the man had a chance to fight Terrence Crawford last year. He said no. They admitted that they said no. But then you are the same dudes that was crying and whining about him fighting David Evanesian. At the end of the day, Terrence Crawford haven't even had the belt for 6 months. And I think the IBF, I think that was some BS. Errol Spence held on to the IBF belt for well over a year without being in the ring, and he didn't get stripped. They didn't threaten to strip him, and it doesn't matter. Well, Terrence Crawford was talking about he moving up to 150. Well, Errol Spence had been saying that about, I'm looking towards a possible fight with Canelo. He was bringing up Canelo's name. Y'all didn't have a problem with that. I mean, it's just easy to debunk you dudes, because we know what it is. You just want Terrence Crawford to lose at all costs. And that's all it comes down to. You're only going to give credit to the guy that beats Terrence Crawford. You already showing who you really is. You've been making excuse after excuse. You said that Terrence Crawford was ducking Errol Spence. He need to take what Errol Spence give him, make the fight. This excuse, that excuse. Okay, he makes the fight. He beats the hell out of Errol Spence. Then you guys sitting up making excuses about weight. I mean, it's just something new every week with you guys. And the people that listen to y'all, I have to question y'all too. And this is what I mean by a divided community. I've never seen people have this much hatred for a black man. But then these non-black fighters, they sit up here and they say stuff about black people, black fighters. Y'all don't say nothing. Y'all don't have that same energy, but then you claim to be pro-black. You guys are pro-whack. That's all it come down to. This is documented. They said it out of their own mouth that they had a chance to fight Terrence Crawford last year and they not to take the fight because they wanted to stay loyal to a network. So they had their opportunity. Don't sit up here and act like, oh, Terrence Crawford is ducking you. But see, that's what these dudes do. They never tell the whole side of the story. They tell a half story to fit their narrative, whatever bullshit that they pushing. That's what these dudes do. Ain't you tired of listening to this same formula with these dudes? These dudes are not really boxing fans. They're groupies. Like I said, keep in mind, these are the same people that were sitting up criticizing Terrence Crawford. And he need to lead Top Rank. He need to do this. He need to do that. But then when Devin Haney signed the 2 to 3 fight deal with Top Rank, oh, all of a sudden everybody zipped their lips, ain't got nothing to say. So that just goes to show you who these dudes are. Y'all continue to listen to these dudes, and these dudes make you stupid. They make you stupid, and they gonna continue to make you stupid, and they're gonna stupefy you, because that's what they're doing. These are the easiest. That's why these dudes don't really do debate. These are the easiest debates to win. Because all you got to do when they sit up there pushing this narrative about Terrence Crawford is ducking Ennis, and you have to bring up the fact, yes or no, is Ennis and his team on camera saying that they could have fought Terrence Crawford? And then they'll have to say yes. Yes or no? Didn't they admit that they could have fought Terrence Crawford, but they said they wanted to stay loyal to Showtime? So that was your blown opportunity. Now you have to wait. You had your chance, so now you have to wait. Terrence Crawford is not obligated to fight Boots Ennis, but y'all wasn't hollering about a duck and all that stuff. And like I said before, if Terrence Crawford had fought Boots Ennis and he beat him, like I said, to the situation, y'all already know what it is with Terrence Crawford. These guys have this disdain for him, this hatred, like they support us. Like I told you, I'm not getting involved. I'm not finna sit up here and tear down Shakur Stevenson because of these other niggas on here, because they in line with other people and they have access to other people versus Shakur Stevenson. And then at the same time, in all likelihood, if you contact Shakur Stevenson, he'll come on your outlet if he have the time. Shakur Stevenson has never turned me down for an interview, but because you guys don't like him, because like I said, at the end of the day, it was just a trap. These dudes was just looking for a reason to attack Shakur Stevenson. It ain't got nothing to do with Devin Haney. It's about Bud. It's because he down with Bud, and they was just looking for an excuse. But unfortunately, Shakur Stevenson gave him a way in when he made the comment about Tyson Fury. Shouldn't have said that, but at the end of the day, I'm not doing that stuff. And that's what a lot of these dudes love to do. They've been making excuses ever since Terrence Crawford destroyed Errol Spence. It's been excuses about the weight. It's about money. It's about, oh, Terrence Crawford, if he really want to prove himself, he should go fight Errol Spence in the rematch in Dallas. For what? Why do we got to go to Dallas? That doesn't make any sense. Terrence Crawford won the fight. You didn't hear people crying about the coin toss. Well, if Errol Spence would have been able to come out first, then he would have won the fight. I mean, it's just like, y'all really listen to these dudes? This is who you guys get boxing knowledge from? You really listen to these dudes? You really listen to these dudes? This is who you get your info from. This is who you listen to and value their opinion. When you can just poke holes in their opinion like so easy. Just, I mean, it's like, you know, for real. But if you guys want to continue to listen to these dudes that'll make fools of you, if you really try to talk to somebody about the whole boxing thing, now, of course, like I said, I don't have no problem with the Philly cats rolling with their guy Boots. They supposed to do that. But all this narrative stuff about Terrence Crawford ducked Jerron Boots in is for real. Boots, he gotta earn his shot. And he gotta really push for a fight with Terrence Crawford. He got to really show that he worthy of a Terrence Crawford fight. And one, he got to do two things. First, he got to prove that he really believed that he could beat him. And then also, I hate using this terminology that boxing is a business, even though it is a business and it's a sport at the same time. But he also got to prove that he could sell a fight with Terrence Crawford. You know, basically, he's relatively unknown. And then his resume is not there. But at the end of the day, all it is these dudes that just want Terrence Crawford to lose at all cost. Because he beat up Errol Spence, he beat the brakes off of him, and these dudes just can't, they just can't accept the fact. So they have to resort to talking about gloves and hand wraps and all this PEDs and all this kind of stuff. The thing is to shut you down and make idiots out of you clowns. Y'all do know that Boots is dealing with Victor Conti too, with Snack. So once again, if Terrence Crawford is dealing with Snack and Boots is dealing with Snack along with Devin Haney, so let me get this straight. Conti is only giving Terrence Crawford the quote-unquote good stuff, and everybody else is getting stepped on stuff. See how easy it is to debunk these dudes? And I mean, these dudes come with these elaborate titles. Terrence Crawford is scared to death of Ennis and all this kind of stuff. And Terrence Crawford ain't scared of that dude. And then once again, Ennis kind of, you know, got outed when he called up to Gilly the Kids, or when they called him, or whatever the case may be. And he even admitted that they wasn't really on Terrence Crawford's helmet like that. And Terrence Crawford was like, is you really trying to get a fight? Once again, there was no videos about that. I felt the need not to talk about it because it was a lewd point. For what? I already knew what was up. But you didn't see no videos get made about that. But then you got these dudes that want to do these hatchet jobs on Terrence Crawford and push these narratives like, look, the man wasn't scared of Errol Spence. He was never ducking Errol Spence. He was trying to make the fight. They went out of their way to try to make the fight. They went to Dallas trying to confront Errol Spence. They didn't let the man in the ring. So just stop it with this stuff. Now all of a sudden the new narrative is, well, maybe they should have fought back in 2020 or 2019 and all that kind of stuff. It's just always a new narrative. But keep listening to these groupie ass niggas though. Because at the end of the day, they're just hoping. What they're doing is they're just using and aligning themselves with Boots. If Boots loses to Terrence Crawford, they ain't gonna give a damn about him. He gonna be another cast off. He just gonna be another casualty, you know, for Terrence Crawford. Another dude that Terrence Crawford got rid of. I promise you guys, if Terrence Crawford fights Boots and he beats Boots, it's going to be the same narrative. It's going to be a new narrative, not to give him excuses. Not to give him his props. They'll just make excuses like they always do. Haven't you seen this with Kell Brook? Begged him to fight Kell Brook. He beat Kell Brook. They pushed the goalpost back. He fought He fought Sean Porter. He beat Sean Porter. They pushed the goalpost back. That he fought Errol Spence, beat Errol Spence. They pushed the goalpost back. They started making these ridiculous video. Oh man, he needs to fight him at 154. That's not fair. Errol Spence can't make 147. That's not Terrence Crawford's problem. Y'all wasn't hollering about Errol Spence's weight when he was defending the title. Y'all wasn't hollering about weight when he beat Ugas. Y'all wasn't hollering about the weight. But like I said before, I already knew this was gonna happen because you dudes are not authentic, and it get nauseating to just listen to some of you dudes talk because you guys don't keep it. You guys don't keep it real. For God's sake, just say you hate Terrence Crawford and just keep it a buck, and just say you want him to lose at all costs. These dudes ain't fans of Boots. He's just their temporary guy until he loses, or if he loses to Terrence Crawford, and then it'll be a new narrative. Then they'll find a new guy. Like I said before, if Terrence Crawford was to get the Canelo fight, these dudes is gonna be praying that Canelo wins that fight. These so-called pro-black super militant dudes, they're gonna be praying. They're going to be praying. They're going to be on their knees praying that Terrence Crawford loses to Canelo. But they so pro-black. They so for the culture. They so for the community. They so power to the people. But then they constantly tear down a black dude because of whatever reason. Like I said, the Spence fans, to me, got worse than the Pacquiao fans, than the Triple G fans. But the sad part about it is these are black. They're blacks. They're black people. They're black men and women that claim that they for the community, they for the culture. Look, it's okay to be a fan of Errol Spence and say that, hey, you think he'll win, but then you don't have to destroy the image and the reputation of another black man, but then have the audacity to say you for the community, you pro-black and you all this stuff. You are not pro-black. So just stop it. You guys are just a bunch of groupies and narrative pushers. You already know if Terrence Crawford fights Boots and he wins, they're gonna try to discredit him at all costs. These dudes are not men and women of their word. Soon as the final bell rung announcing who the winner was, a lot of these dudes scattered. They went hiding. They went into hiding. Some decided they don't even want to talk about boxing anymore. So aren't you guys tired of seeing this same formula? This is what's going to happen. This is what they do. Boots isn't there yet. At the end of the day, Boots isn't there yet. What he need to do is, since he been elevated to IBF, he need to go fight somebody. He has to prove that he's worth and worthy of a fight with Terrence Crawford. But that's what these dudes love to do. They love to negotiate on behalf of Terrence Crawford and tell Terrence Crawford what he should take. But all of a sudden, these dudes then rally behind Boots because they just really want revenge for Errol Spence getting the shit beat out of him by Terrence Crawford. And that's all it come down to, because they can't take it. They dished it out for 4 to 5 years. You know, demeaned Terrence Crawford, talked about this man, talked about his family, all this stuff. And just, they went way beyond boxing. They made it way too personal. You know, they made it way too personal. And then now look where we are now. Like I said, sometimes the biggest perpetrators and perpetuators of white supremacy are black people themselves. Because a lot of times these black people act like they don't want to be liberated. They act like they want to be led by other people. That's why they, you know what I'm saying? That's why they so easy to compromise, to be compromised. and to compromise themselves. Black people talk all this shit, but at the end of the day, they want to be led and they seek approval from other people. They want to be liked. See, that's the difference between me and these other people. I don't want to be liked. I'm not going to sit up here and compromise my channel just so I can gain subscribers. I'm not going to be a perpetuator of white black supremacy by constantly tearing down black men. And anytime a black man have an issue and he calls out racism, they want to call themselves trying to undermine him, to sit up there and support and captain and champion for white supremacy or other forms of non-black groups that are anti-black. Man, who the hell are you talking to, man? So I'm just saying that just goes to show you where people is. Well, like I said, I got man, I ain't worried about nobody because I got plenty of street ties. I can tell you this much. I'm in the Bay Area. I'm good anywhere. I'm good in San Francisco. I got people in San Francisco. I got people in Oakland. Definitely got people in Oakland. Got people in Stockton. Got people in Sacramento. Got people in Fairfield. Got people in Vacaville. Got people in Berkeley. Oh, I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm really on this Bay thing. So, but that's the difference between me and other people. So that's what this all comes down to. But I'm asking you guys, don't let these people stupefy you. They full of it. Anyway, I'm out.